show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on GTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon Spa Nail and Barbershop, HOV Medical, and Digicel. Sign up for Digicel Plus Home Light Bundles, faster internet, movies, and sports. This is the big story. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition. In studio with me is one of our Olympians who we are celebrating. We know that the curtains are done on the road to Paris Olympics 2024. But that celebration mode has not even really kicked in thoroughly. So we want to sit with the Tad. We want to first welcome you home.
Thank you.
Secondly, we want to thank you for making the British Virgin Islands so proud. We saw you guys, there were four of you. You were the only one that was not in the track and field, but you were in sailing.
Yep.
So first of all, we want to know how this experience was for you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. It was an amazing experience, and like you said, celebration mode hasn't really kicked in yet. Just got back a couple of days ago and was watching the other guys compete and watching the closing ceremonies. But it was a great experience. I was definitely happy to represent the BVI there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while everyone, most persons understand the track and the field aspects of Olympics, sailing is one that we would consider kind of unique.
Yeah.
Explain to us what you had to do and how it was.
So I sailed the Laser, or the ILCA 7, and I sailed a series of 10 races over 5 days. We only got 8 races, so it was actually 2 races for 4 days. And there were 43 competitors, including myself. And the way it works is how you finish. Whoever finishes with the least points at the end of that series of races wins. Whoever finishes with the most points loses. So whatever you finish in each race is your amount of points. So if you win the race, that's 1 point. If you come 43rd, that's 43 points. So you're trying to get as good of a score as possible each race, so that at the end of those days, you come out ahead.
Okay, so I think at one stage you came in second place.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So I did get a second place in the 4th race. So that helped my scores a lot, helped me move up a bit. But then I wasn't able to repeat that and get as good of a score again. So you kind of go back down to where you were before, but it still helps you. But in terms of that race, I just had a good start on kind of what we call the favored end of the line, and was able to connect a few shifts, the wind shifts, and get myself into the front pack of boats very early on. And then from there, it was only a few boats that I had to worry about until the end of the race.
Which country were those few boats from?
The person who won was from Croatia, and the person right behind me who came 3rd was from Guatemala.
Okay. You would have traveled so many different places and sailed in so many different places. Compare those to what the atmosphere was like and the experience was like in Paris.
Right. Well, there's nothing quite like the Olympics. You know, it's very different. Although the format is similar to other games, Pan Am Games, CAC Games, just the energy of the Olympics and the importance of the whole thing is unmatched. And then in terms of the venue itself, I really enjoyed the sailing venue. We were in Marseille in the south of France. I really enjoyed that venue. It was hot, it was warm, kind of similar to here, medium to light conditions. And I thought it was great sailing with the exception of missing the last day.
Let's go back to the stage when you were able to meet with the chef of the mission. You had all the other athletes. What was that environment like? And then going into the opening ceremony, you guys sailing!
Yep.
Sailing for the opening!
So I was looking forward to that because being a sailor, we're normally at a different venue from the rest of the athletes. So I don't always get to interact with them, especially the BVI team who's here. Our schedules don't always line up. When I've gone to other games, that's been the case. So I was really looking forward to that, and it was good to be able to, share their company and be there and have the whole team BVI experience. As for the opening ceremony, that was like no other. So that was definitely something to remember. Even though it was rainy, that didn't really dampen the mood. So I thought it was great. I was happy to be a part of the first opening ceremony like that. And it was just, like I said, amazing to carry the BVI flag.
What was the biggest takeaway for you?
There are lots of takeaways. I mean, it had takeaways in terms of the racing, technical things like that. How you'll learn all these little tricks and tips at the Olympics. You don't really learn them anywhere else but there. Just the whole kind of production side of the Olympics, that was interesting to me. There were lots of little takeaways. Overall, I'd say the whole thing was a takeaway. There was
the whole experience,
yeah, the whole
right?
entire
But
experience.
You said learning little tips that you would not have known of before.
Right.
You want to talk a little bit about that and what made that so unique that you could have only learned it there and not during your other experiences?
Yeah, I think just because the level is so high there, it brings out kind of these little maneuvers and tactical situations that you don't see at other events, and it kind of forces the best of people or forces the best out of people. So you just see things from other competitors, or you may get slighted in a way and you kind of realize, oh, that's how you do it, that's how it's done here. So it's hard to explain specifically, but things like that only come out when the competition is so good.
So with those little experiences, let's say we should turn back the hands
Yeah.
of time and now that you would have seen those little tips, what do you think would have been your performance like?
It's difficult to say. You always like to say in hindsight you may have been able to do better, but you never really know. I think that if I gave it another go right away, I'd finish a few spots higher up, be able to keep a few more boats behind me each race. But hindsight is 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, the curtain is down. We're waiting on the others to all come together and
Right.
for us to really, really, really get the celebration going. But for quite a number of people, while we hear the name Tad Lettsome in sailing, representing the Virgin Islands, tell us a little bit more about what you're up to, what you're doing. Where do you go to school? Are you out of school? Are you working? Are you building your mansion? What's happening?
Well, I just finished university in the U.S. In May, so I was doing school up until May, and then the last few months I've been training in Canada, where my coach is from. And that's sort of where the best competition is on this side of the world right now, kind of in North America. So I've spent the last 2 months, month and a half up there training. And then I went from there, came home for a bit and went to the Olympics. So, but the short answer is I've been in school for the last 4 years at Tulane University.
Studying
Real estate development.
Okay,
Yes.
that says that you coming right back home.
Yes, I'd like to, yes.
Yes. Okay, and so apart from that career goal, what's next for you?
Well, so actually I have to put sailing on pause for a while because I'm going to law school in London in September.
Come on, sir.
Yeah.
Why law?
I think it's a good profession, especially one that allows you to come back here and work and maybe make a difference. But I know I have an interest in it. I like reading, I like writing. I think I'm good at the two things, and I think it'd be something good to mix in with my real estate development degree.
You fall in the path of your mom.
Perhaps.
Well, when we made this arrangement to have you on the big story, and you agreed that one thing that came back to my mind. I remember one day being at the Rotary Club of Tortola's meeting, and your grandfather. At that time, I did not know Bernard was your grandfather, and he stood up and he spoke so highly with such great pride to know that his grandbaby is heading off to the Olympics. What was that like for you? Knowing that grandpa, grandparents got a different kind of love for them.
Exactly. No, I mean a big reason I do this is to make my family and friends proud. So I'm glad that I'm able to do so. But yeah, that does make me happy, and especially because my grandfather is difficult to impress.
Okay. Yeah, but trust me, he was so impressed.
That's good.
And you know Bernard already.
Yeah.
You know your granddad. He's such a jovial person.
Yeah.
And you know, he's full of pride. But looking to the future, for the sport of sailing in the Virgin Islands, where do you see it? And what are some of the things that you think needs to be done so that we have a bigger pool? Yes, we are a small territory. We always say we Talawa.
Yeah.
We big in so many ways, and there's so many young people are now gravitating to the sea more and more because it's being pushed.
Yeah.
What is that one thing that you would love to see happen to make sure that we have even greater representation when it comes to these international meets?
Yeah, so it starts, like you said, at the bottom. So I've been saying you just have to go out and give it a try. You have to do that initial first time, which is the hardest time to do it. After then, it becomes easier and easier. You get used to it, becomes part of the routine. But, you know, try the introductory programs around the territory. Try the Saturday morning recreational fun sales, or at the yacht club or wherever else they may be. But just give it a try. You'll never know if you don't start.
Okay, and you're following in the footsteps of greats. We would have had like Dr.
Tattersall, yep, exactly, yep.
Yeah, you had conversations with him?
I spoke to him, yes, at an event we did at the yacht club. Yeah, he had very encouraging words, as did others who had done it before me. So I was grateful to be able to talk to them and get some of their advice and hear some of their stories from when they were there.
Any stories match? When you would have gone in, or did you think anything matched what they went through?
Well, I was told about the camaraderie of the games and how you could look forward to athletes really, you know, having a different feel about them just because we're all here at the Olympics. And that was true, I think. Everybody kind of has an understanding or mutual understanding that, you know, these are the best of the best. And even though everyone's hard on in competition mode, at the same time there is like a different sort of level of camaraderie there, which is interesting.
When we do interviews and stuff and sit down with persons who would have participated in pageants and stuff, the one thing that you always hear them say, you know, I would have walked away with a whole new family, made new friends. Is that the same experience you would have had? Did you have anyone that, you know, you became friend with that you never knew before, but this person tracked you right on to making sure that you got home safe, communicated, and you guys still talking now?
Yeah, there are a few people that I would have, you know, gained a relationship with. I would say I knew of or knew most people before I went. But yeah, there are definitely some people that you have a better bond with now that you've gone there. That's definitely true. Yeah.
Okay, and you looking forward to 2028, I'm guessing?
We'll see. It'll be difficult with school. So at the moment that isn't the plan, but you never know.
Okay, well, we hope that school can match that because we need to see that again out there. Tad, I want to once again, on behalf of the management and staff of JTV Jahphix, congratulate you on making us proud. We are indeed proud of you. Trust me, we are. And as we close out, anything that you want to say to all your fans, loved ones who would have been riding the waves with you? Yeah.
Well, just, you know, thank you for the support. I've seen lots of messages. I've heard lots of comments and things like that while I was gone. I heard there was lots of big turnouts and a lot of support here at home. So just thank you for all of that. And whoever is next, or if it's me again, you know, I look forward to the continued support.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for your presence here. It was a delight speaking with you. See you still tarring off a bit. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition of The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Are you searching for new home decor items that reflect the season's latest trends? Look no further than Right Way Home. From cushion sets to decorative vases, we have unique pieces to suit every style and budget. Discover your right find at the right price, only at Right Way Home and Right Way Stores.